Hello my friends, the holiday of Shavuot is upon us. We know that one of the great customs on the holiday of Shavuot is the eating of dairy products and honey, different products on the holiday of Shavuot. What is the deal with this custom of eating dairy on the holiday of Shavuot? So to answer this question, I'd like to investigate a little bit more about the holiday itself and what it represents. We know that when the Jewish people were encamped in the desert, the entire assembly of the Jewish people would travel together three by three on each side of the tabernacle, 4 sides making up 12 tribes. I want to focus on 3 particular tribes. The tribes of Judah, Yisachar, and Zebulun. There's a reason for everything in the Torah, and the commentaries discuss why every tribe was situated specifically next to the other one. So when we look at Judah, Yisachar, and Zebulun, what character trait did Judah represent? So the answer is that Judah represents the trait of taking responsibility for himself and for his fellow Jew. And we see this example a few times in the Torah. For example, when Judah's father, Jacob, is reluctant to send his son Benjamin down to Egypt as per Joseph's request, Judah is the only one to come ahead and tell his father, hey, let me go. Let me be the one to bring Benjamin down, and you know why you should let me go? Because I'm willing to give up my life in this world and the next if I don't bring him back to you. And Jacob said, you know what? You're really sacrificing a lot for my son. And if you're really ready to make such a commitment, you can take Benjamin. You can take Benjamin and go down and get us food from Egypt. That was one example. Another example is when the Jews are coming out of Egypt, all of a sudden they're in front of the ocean, nothing's happening, and who comes into the ocean? None other than Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon ben Aminadav was the prince of the tribe of Judah. So just from these few examples, we already see that the tribe of Judah represents the idea of taking responsibility for himself and for his fellows. So what is the connection between the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Yisachar and the tribe of Zebulun that put them all together on the same side of the tabernacle? Why were they put together? So before we answer this question, I'd like to focus on one particular point. When Jacob was ready to finally go down to Egypt, it says that he tells his son Judah to first run ahead to Egypt and prepare for the family's arrival. And Rashi, the famous commentary, explains what was Jacob sending Judah to do. And the answer is, Rashi says, that Jacob was sending Judah to go ahead and prepare a place of Torah study to greet Jacob's family so that when they arrive, they have a place to learn Torah. 1 second. Very big question here. Because we know that each and every one of the 12 tribes has some symbolism that they represent. And we know that if there's any tribe that represents the study of Torah, that was the tribe of Yisachar. Why is it that of all of the sons that Jacob chose to send down to Egypt to prepare a place of Torah study, that Jacob chose Judah? Why not choose Yisachar, who himself represents the tent dweller, the one that will forever be the one to study Torah in the tents of study? Why didn't Jacob send Yisachar? Why did he send Judah? The commentaries explain something phenomenal. The commentaries explain that Jacob specifically sent Judah because Jacob recognized this aspect of Judah of being able to take responsibility for himself and for others. And Jacob wanted the study hall and the study hall to be built on a foundation of taking responsibility for the brother, for one's friend. It wasn't enough to just send Yisachar. Jacob specifically wanted to send Judah so that Judah should build this study hall on a foundation of one of sharing and giving over to the other. To answer our original question, the reason why Yisachar and Judah were together in the encampment was because God wanted Judah to have this positive influence on the tribe of Yisachar. Do not only learn the Holy Torah for yourselves, right? Take the example from the tribe of Judah, which represents taking responsibility for everyone. You, Yisachar, have a tremendous responsibility to not just learn Torah on your own. Share that Torah and make it a part of all of the Jewish people. And that is also the reason why Zevulun is included in that trio. Because Zevulun represents the idea of financially supporting Torah. We know that Zevulun manned the ports. They were the ones to financially support the Torah that Yisachar learned, and they had a partnership. All of the learning that Yisachar did was going to count for Zebulun as well. So we see here this idea of taking responsibility for oneself and for everyone else. How does this give us an insight into Shavuot? Well, our original question was, why do we eat milk and dairy products on Shavuot? What does that have to do with anything? So we know that when the Jewish people were at that phenomenal moment at Mount Sinai, it says, Ke'ish echad belev echad. It says, Vayichan sham Yisrael, which means he camped there. It's a singular tense. Why are we talking about the Jewish people in singular tense? There were many Jews there after all. The answer is that they were unified. They were all there together, ready to accept the Torah. When we eat dairy products on Shavuot, we are showing that we are tapping into the energy of harmony. After all, dairy products don't require any disturbance of the laws of nature. Milking a cow, the cow's still going to live, right? You take in the bee out of a hive, the bees are fine. You're not disrupting the laws of nature. You're preserving the harmony. When we come to Shavuot, we're not just learning the Torah. We are celebrating, after all, it's a Yom Tov, it's a festival. We're celebrating the unity of the Jewish people in the study of Torah. We're celebrating the responsibility that we all have for one another to not just learn it for ourselves, like Issachar does, but to share it with others in a harmony. So may this be a Shavuot of harmony for all of us. May we internalize these beautiful lessons of taking responsibility for ourselves and for our fellow Jews, both in Torah and in all aspects of life. Chag Sameach. Have a wonderful Shavuot. Thank you.